How's it going, YouTube? So when we last left off, we created a little cavity here for the transmission part of the drive shaft. We may end up adding a shifter in there later on, but I think on this one we'll go ahead and do the tail lights, and we'll start working with some of the interior objects as well as the glass paneling for the windows and everything like that. So let's go and jump right on in. So for here is what I'm going to do. I could do this one of two ways. I could do this the same way I did the front signal lamps, where I just select this edge and this edge, and then this is probably going to be the easiest way, to be honest with you, but I'm just going to hit extrude those edges, and I'm just going to drag them up like this, and probably right about there, and I'm just going to move them in, something kind of like that. And I actually need to separate these faces, so I'm going to click on these, go all the way around like that, and I'm just going to click separate. There we go. And now we have our beautiful tail lamp lens thing object. You know what I'm saying. So I actually want to move this in just a little bit more. And the next thing is we need to add this edge right here and have this curve out. I know in real life these don't have this, but you know, yeah, it's whatever. So I'm just going to click these two, and I'm just going to bulge these out just a little bit, probably right about here. No, I actually need to move this in because this is where this one's at, so this way I'll keep that nice and uniform. Let's go ahead and take a look at it and see that actually doesn't look too bad. So we'll just Control G, Control Shift D, and it should move it over to this side. So that's how easy that is. Let's go and turn off that and get this one. One thing that I might go ahead and make a note of is we don't need all these extra edges in here. These we actually probably want to keep, now that I think about it. But these right here, these three, we don't really need those. Because see, even if I press 3, as you can see, it still keeps the same shape. And the reason why we want to keep these three, because they'll line up with these three right here. But these three right here that we just deleted, there was no roundness to it or anything like that. That's why it was okay to delete those. But we're going to do the same thing over here on this side. I'm just going to press G on the keyboard. So the next thing we want to do is add a window, and to do so we could do the same thing where we just grab the top edges or the bottom edges, but the only thing with that is that this curves. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go into the tool up here. I'm going to create a polyplane. I'm just going to do something like this, and then I'm going to go to vertex. I'm just going to move this one back, something about right here. So then the next thing we need to do, probably wouldn't hurt to grab both of these and move them back just a little bit more. This way, whenever we click on the edge loop tool, we can add in an edge right here. Then we'll do one right here. So we'll just be matching those 2 points. And this is going to be fun because we actually have an edge loop right here, but nothing right here. So I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. So let's go ahead and grab these 3 points, and we'll go ahead and move them forward just where they go through a little bit. We don't want them going through too much. We'll do the same thing with these two, and then with this one we need to pull it back. So we're trying to keep the width of this the same all the way down. The next thing we'll do is we'll actually grab all the vertices, and then we'll start moving the window over. Now the reason why I'm doing it this way instead of just moving the object itself is because this way I don't have to group it or anything like that. It's already going to have a center pivot at 0 by me only moving the vertices, and that's why I'm choosing to do it this way. If you want, you can move the whole object, and then you can just hit Control G to group it, but this is just my preference on how I like to do it. So if you notice, whenever I'm doing this, I'm actually not moving it all the way out. And the reason for that, because on a real vehicle, it actually has this gap in here, and that's why I'm choosing to do it this way. So the next thing I want to do is I actually want to move this down to right about here, and then I'm going to move it out. And this way, everything's uniform. Actually, I don't want that bottom vertex, I just want these two, and I want to move these back just a little bit. And so that's how we create the window for the truck. And let's go ahead and press 3 on the keyboard, and we'll press 3 on the door. Okay, so we have it where it's a little tight up here. So we're going to go into vertex again. We're just going to move this back. I'm going to move this one right about here. I'm going to deselect that one. Then I'll move this one just a little bit. Then I'm going to go into this one up here. I'm going to move this one back. So this way it's continuous all the way around. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and Control-Shift-D. This way it'll duplicate it over to this side. And you can't see anything because double-sided is turned off. So you have to actually come over to this side to see it. So the next thing we want to do, let's see. Okay, so yeah, the next thing we'll do is we're actually going to create an edge loop in here. It's going to bring up the poly. Well, no, we can't do that because of this edge right here. So let me see if I have an edge loop up here, and I think I do. I can't tell. I do. Awesome. Awesome opossum. So I'm going to deselect those two. I'm going to deselect these two. And then I'm just going to extrude this down. When I do this, okay, so I'm just going to stop right there. So what it is, I'm going to go into face. I'm going to select these faces right here. I'm going to go to UV. I'm sorry, I'm going to go to Mesh Display, and I'm going to click Reverse. There we go. So what I want to do is I want to select all of these faces, if it'll let me. And do I have an extra face there? I do have an extra face there. Do I have an extra face over here? I do have an extra face over here. Okay. So I'm going to actually separate these. And then I'm going to go to Face. I'm going to deselect these. And I'm going to make sure it says 2 up here on Faces. I'm just going to press Delete on the keyboard. But I need to make sure that this object... you suck, Maya. There we go. Okay, so let's see. 3, 4, 5, and I have 2 faces selected. There we go. And the reason why I want to delete those is because I'm not really going to need any extra resolution on this. So I'm going to select these 2 on the outside. I'm going to scale them out just a little bit. The next thing I want to do, I want to grab these. I'm going to make this flat. But I want to scale this out, but I need the wireframe turned on. So this way I can move these up and match them up to this point. And then I'm going to click on Edge, and I'm going to select this whole bottom edge right here. I'm going to extrude it one more time, and I'm just going to extrude it down to here. And I'm going to scale it out like so. So then the next thing we need to do is we'll just select this whole object, and we're going to move it forward. I'm thinking probably something kind of like this. Move it back just a little bit. There we go. So that's basically how you do that. Let me go ahead and click on both of these, press 3. I need to turn off this, and then we're just going to take a look at it all the way around real quick. Aha, see, right here. The reason why we're getting this, let me go ahead and add this as a layer real quick. So the reason why we're getting this, because this part right here is actually folding in, it's curving in some. So to fix that is what we will do is we'll go into our Cut Face tool, and let me just move this over here. I'm going to move that kind of close to the edge. But then over here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click right here on this edge, and it's not letting me. Why is it not letting me? So let me do it here. That's good. Move it right about there. Now let's see what we get. Huh. You just press enter on that. So something's going on right around Mia. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in on this. Move this. I'm going to create a little cut right there. Let's see how far this will let me go. Okay, so this will let me close it off. That was weird. So now when we press 3 on it, you can see that now we have this edge right here, but the back still folds in. And so we're going to have to do the same thing over here, which is not a big deal. And we'll just go ahead and start that. I'm going to create a edge loop, or a, I'm going to start the cut there on that vertex. Let me see if I can go in here. I can. Let me see if I can go over here, and I can. Sweet. So what I want to do is right here on this one. Oh, why are you doing this to me, Maya? Nope. Nope. Okay, so I'm just going to move it in right about there. I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. You would think that it would know what I'm trying to do, but sometimes you run into this issue, which is no big deal. It can just be frustrating sometimes. Anyways, I'm just going to close that off right there and press enter. So now when we press 3, you can see that we now keep our shape right here. And when we add the window in, it appears that it actually needs to be moved back. So I'm going to go into, no, I'm going to go into face. I'm just going to move it back just a little bit, not too much. And there we go. Now, one thing I think is worth noting is you might be wondering, well, what if you're inside the vehicle and you're looking outside? You know, because if you're inside the vehicle, you're not going to see the windows. And, I mean, yeah, obviously you can't see them now, and you know this is going to be more transparent and everything. But let's say you might have window tinting or something. The way that I do this is I select all the windows. I'm going to hold down Control and press D, and so this will duplicate the objects, as you can see. After that, I'm going to go into Mesh Display. I'm just going to press Reverse. So if you want the windows and things like that, then that's how you would do it. And then I'd click on both of these, make sure they're both selected. Then I just go in here and combine them. So that's the way I do that. And it's really that simple. So as you can see, this is 1, 2, 3 sides. So 2 of these would be 6, and as you can see, faces selected is 6. So yeah, that's how I do the windows whenever I want to add that extra detail. So this windshield is actually folding down. They don't normally do that in real life. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to add an edge loop right here and right here. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So we'll add one here, and we'll add one here. Press 3, and now we keep that, that nice shape that we'd expect to see. But right here we got an issue. What is the issue? I don't know yet. That's what I'm investigating. Let me see if we have it over here on this side. I'm going to press 3 on the keyboard. Okay, yeah, we do. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to go here into Edge Loop. And I'm going to add one right here in the middle. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. And I'm sure you all already know what I'm getting ready to do. So we have this edge loop that runs right down the middle. I'm going to go into Face. And just like the AOL guy used to say, goodbye. Okay, so the point of that is this way I can fix one side and set one side up the way I want it to be set up. I can actually see right here what's going on now. This is actually protruding out just a little bit. So what I need to do, I don't really necessarily want to do this, but this is the way that needs to be done. Yeah, because see, we actually have, I can't even select that edge over there. So I'm just going to select, no, not that one. I'm going to select these 2 edges. I'm just going to go, meh. And then I'm going to see if I can select this edge underneath. Really, Maya? There we go. I'm just going to move it out. And in theory, not too terribly bad. Let's see what it looks like whenever it's smooth. Still has a little bit of protrusion right here. I don't particularly care for that. So I'm going to press 1 on the keyboard. I can see exactly what's going on, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually do what I want to do. I think it'd actually be better if I just grabbed this whole set of edges and did that. Maybe not. Basically, what's going on is it's not following the continuity of the curve. Let me go into the side view. I was hoping maybe I'd see it from the front. But see, basically this section curves up, but then right here, it's just flat. And that's where we're having our issues. So maybe I can grab this vertice, I can pull it up, and I can grab this vertice and pull it up. I don't know if this is going to fix it or not, but let's go ahead and just take a quick gander at what we got. I didn't quite fix it, but I might be able to grab just this one and pull it up. And then let me press 1 on the keyboard, press 3, I'm going to object mode. That just made it worse. There we go. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be in this view that I need to fix it in. Let me see here real quick. Let me go into edge. I think is what's going on is I just need to manipulate this edge right here. This might do it. So I'm going to pull that up right about here. And there's actually a vertex right here. This one needs to be moved in and down just a little bit. This one will actually need to be moved probably right about there. I actually need to make this one more even with that. And then this one actually curves down, so I need to... Nope, can't pull that one up. Because what's going to go on is whenever I go in here, you're going to see... you're still going to see the deformity. And this is what I'm trying to get rid of. And actually, I think the other thing I need to do is I need to grab all this nonsense and just pull it back. So, okay, so I can actually just take this, I can just pull this down. So what I need to do is I need to make that even all the way across. So, probably something like that. We go in here, and then I'm going to go into Object Mode 3, take a look at it. Got rid of most of it, not all of it, but it got rid of most of it. So, I'm going to continue tweaking this just a little bit. Bear with me. I'm going to take this edge, I'm going to pull it back, then I'm going to take this edge, I'm going to pull it forward. And the reason why I'm grabbing these up here, because if I grab down here, it's going to change the shape of that. Now, as you can see, it's already made this more round. So, that's why I'm grabbing those there. For here, I'm actually going to pull these back just a little bit. And then, I'm going to try and match those up. See, it doesn't really help because we have this. You know, I'd almost bet anything. If I do that, maybe, just maybe, go ahead and grab this vertex. I'm going to pull it over. I'm going to move this right about here. I'm going to grab this one. I'm just going to move it just a little bit. So with me adding that extra edge in there, yeah, it still has it slightly. It's better. Still has it slightly, though. But basically, because of all these edges are so close together, that's why we're getting that. Ah, there's something I can do. Now I'm just going to select this whole monstrosity. Press R on the keyboard. Flatten it out that way. We just press smooth on that. Yeah, that helped out a little bit. So, anyways, yeah, that's it. Press 1, Control-Shift-D. Let's go ahead and combine them back together. And you're more than welcome to continue tweaking it. Maybe you'll find something that I didn't, like you'll find out what it is. If you do, congratulations. But basically I just don't want this tutorial to last for, 2.5 years. So that's why I'm just going to go ahead and quickly skip over that little piece right there. Otherwise, I would be spending a lot more time on it, trying to figure out what it is. Whenever I'm doing this on my own, that's what I generally do. So, right, windshield. Let's do this. Now you can do the same thing. First when you go into 3, yeah, okay, so see, this is nice and sharp all the way around. I'm not worried about down here because we're actually going to connect the windshield. Wait a minute. Okay, so yeah, we're actually going to have to extrude this back a little bit. Joy. So let's go in here. We'll select those faces, and then we'll select these faces. And we're going to press the extrude button. We're just going to move these back like so. Let's see, does that match up? Yeah, that kind of matches up, so I think I can live with it. I think I can live with it. No, I can't. That's a lie. That's actually just a fallacy. You just select those, and then I'm going to move this out. Oh, you suck. Just going to slowly move these out. Thinking something kind of like that should be fine. Okay, so is what I want to do now, besides save it, which is what I just did, I'm going to find this edge in here. Edge. Oh, do I want that one? I don't know. Like, it goes all the way across, so it'll work. It will work. Let's go ahead and not bridge them. Maya, you bastard. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to extrude, not bridge, extrude. I'm just going to pull them down. Okay, so this is the same thing as before. I'm going to select this face. And I'm going to select this face. I'm going to go ahead and detach them. Object mode, face, 1, 2, 3. Going to go into mesh display. I'm going to hit reverse, object mode. What? What? Okay, there we go. So that looks better. If you come into this problem where it's like, why is that black? Just separate the faces, object mode, and you can combine them. Huh, that did not work. Why is that black? Go into object mode. I'm just gonna go into rendering editors. I'm gonna go into hypershade. I'm just going to assign it the default Lambert 1 material. So I'm going to assign no. Oh, assign initial shading group. So yeah, I guess that would be right. It's just not what I'm. See, they should have. What is going on here, Maya? What is your deal? Alright, you know what? Screw these faces. They're just pissing me off. This is like a good indication at this point where you would want to shut down Maya and restart it. Me, I don't feel like rolling like that, so I'm going to do it after I finish doing all of the windows. If you didn't run into this problem, great, but that's how you fix it. You know, if the initial shading trick doesn't work, just do what I did. Easy. Maya can't fool me. I'm a superhero. I don't know what that was. Don't question it. Don't analyze it. Just nod your head and agree. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to move this. We need to find the edges, so it should be right about here. So is what I want to do is I'm going to go into Edge. I'm just going to select this whole bottom. Maya problems. There we go. I'm just going to select this whole bottom edge. I'm not really worried about making it the right width just yet. I'm more so. Okay. Oi. Anyways, I'm more so just worried about matching up these points. And that's why I'm just moving them down there to about where they should be down here. I'm just going to move this right about here. So then from here, I can just simply click on my scale tool. I'm just going to move them in. Looks like I actually need to go down just a little bit. I'm going to go and scale them out some more. And for these just scale out. Because I've already lined them up in the X or in the side view. So literally, once I scale them out, they should just match right up to where I want them. So the next thing I need to do is we have some width down here. And we actually need to make this width match what the rest of this is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Vertex, and I keep going into the wrong view. And then I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to move it forward right about here. So now we should have this. And that's pretty much how I do that. I'm also going to select these vertices up here. I'm just going to move these up. Then I'm going to move them back just a little bit. Now, most of y'all know this. Windshields bubble out. Even on these models, they actually bubble out. So, to do this, is what I usually do, is I'll select these right here in the middle. I won't select those, I won't select any of the vertices up top. I'm just going to move these up, and move them up just a little less than that. I'm going to hold down Control and Shift and select these outside. I'm going to do the same thing. So now when we press 3, did it? Yeah, it did. Okay. So now we have a smooth windshield. And you can tweak this a little bit more if you want. That's completely optional. You could also add a few more edges and everything, but I'd kind of be cautious doing it. Because as you can see right now, we already have 28 faces, but when we smooth this, it's going to be multiplied by 4. So you're actually going to be looking at about 116? No. Because that's 28, 3, so it'd actually be 112. By doing it 3, it's actually a double duplication, which is why it's 448 whenever you press 3 on the keyboard. But right here, as you can see, I'll just go ahead and do it 112. So that's why I'd be kind of leery about doing it. And by the way, if you ever smooth something and you've already deleted the history, there's another button right here which is reduce. I believe that's under edit mesh, somewhere under edit mesh. So no, it's not under edit mesh. It's under mesh, just regular mesh. But under remesh, it'll say reduce. You can click on that, and it'll reduce the number of polygons you have. And as you can see, mine's still at 50, and you're like, well, what the hell? Right here, just change this value from 50 to 100. Press enter. Ew, I did it way too much. Probably 75. Nope. 70. There we go. 70. So 70 is the magical number in this case. Sometimes each application's different, depending on what you're doing. But anyways, that's how you do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the windshield. We're going to press Control D, and then we're going to go to Mesh Display, and we're going to hit Reverse. And then I'm going to go on the inside, Object Mode, and that is still gray, so that is good. And then I'm going to go ahead and combine these two. And there we go. So now whenever I click on one, you'll see it says 56 faces, which 28 is 56. So that's how I do that. So the next thing, I actually want to take all of the windows. What was layer 6? Curiosity. I don't remember what layer 6 was. Maybe it's something that it's probably the whole cab and everything. So yeah, because I cut it in half and duplicated the other half and re-bridged it and everything, that's why it's no longer has any objects assigned to it. So I'm just going to click on all the windows, and I'm going to go ahead and assign them to layer 6. I'm going to change the name to, actually I'm just going to call it glass layer. And hit save. Okay, so now whenever I turn on and off the glass layer, as you can see, yay. Yeah, we'll probably start on the firewall and dashboard in the next tutorial, and we will go from there. So until next time, see you then.